Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Halsey. And for today we're gonna learn how I animate on ibispaintx. So step 1, you're gonna go and click that little plus button to add a canvas. You're gonna scroll down until you get to the animation settings. I treat this just like any drawing and I start off with a rough sketch. You're gonna be doing a frame by frame drawing. So you're trying to create movement with each frame. I recommend having the past onion layer skin on, so this can help you see the previous drawing underneath. Also, I like to keep my setting between 9 to 12 for frames per second. The more frames per second, the faster it moves. The less frames, the slower it'll move. Okay, so now I'm going to define the character a bit more because I finished get the movement that I wanted. So during this process, I'll just be going back and forth through the frames, checking how it moves and just fiddling around with details. I also add like a little blurry swoosh, as you can see by like that little hand place, because it helps with the flow of movement. After I'm a bit happy with how it's looking, I'll just flip over my canvas and use the liquify pen to help straighten out the position. And then I'll re-go over the sketch to define it more. Because when you're moving things around with the liquify pen or changing the size, you'll see your lines start to get a little blurry. So that just helps to define the character more. And then I go in frame by frame to just sort out little details. I'm adding color. As you can see, it's slowly coming together. I'm trying to finalize it. I wasn't that happy with the eyes, so I took it out. I just had a feeling it needed to look bigger, and I'm so glad that I made that change. Okay, so now I'm just adding in a little bit of lighting, and on a new layer, I go and sort out the background. Now when it comes to doing a background, you do not have to go and draw this background on every single frame. I pick the one frame and I start creating and fiddling around with it. It slowly comes together as I understand the perspective that I'm showing of the camera angle. You want to keep in mind the angle from which you're presenting your character. So this little cat is very low to the ground and I wanted the background to just suggest the environment that they're in. And when I'm done and happy with the background, I'll copy and paste it on all the other frames. Thereafter, I'll just finish some details by adding maybe a little bit more highlights and a shadow, because there's a bright light source in front of the character. Okay, so that's one way of how I animate. The second part of this animation, I actually used a different method. So instead of drawing it frame by frame like I did with the Alistair cat, I decided to draw everything together like a picture. So I start off with a rough sketch and then I quickly go to define my characters a bit more. Keep in mind that I'm not drawing this as a full picture together. Each character that I'm going to be drawing will be on separate layers. All of it is in the same frame, just on separate layers. Because the character in the foreground is going to be moving different to the character that's going to be in the midground. And then you can see the background just stays still. And by doing this, I think it kind of saves you some time so you don't have to go back and forth between all the frames. This is way more planned out and I recommend you using a storyboard or a draft before you begin animating to plan out your work. So like this, I do everything in one frame and then when I duplicate the frame, I don't have to go back and forth unless I want to add any small details and adjustments, or when I finally do add the parts that are going to be animated. Unlike the cat that was moving back and forth, I am just going to be moving objects. So this is how it's going to look on my layers. Everything is going to be kept separate. It's good to have an understanding of perspective to know what's in front, what's in the midground, and what's in the background. That's because it adds a sense of depth to your work, just like any painting that you do. So right now I'm just trying to finish drawing Alistair with a saxophone. He's just gonna be moving out from behind that door frame. I'd say this is a pretty simple animation. I am not a professional animator, I'm just an artist and I'm learning. So if I can do this, y'all can do this too. I try to keep things as simple as I can until I do learn more, and then hopefully my animation skills will improve. Okay, now that he's done, I'm just gonna duplicate this frame. Remember that all of this was drawn on one frame. So after I duplicate all those frames, I can just move the character how I want to. And then I drew this little spray can detail for the end part of my animation. This is gonna be moving just like how Alistair was. And when I'm done, I'll just go and duplicate it in more frames and then start moving the can. As you can see, I'm just going back and forth to see if I need to fix any details. Now I'm gonna stop all of y'all here to let y'all know marker missions are open. If y'all are interested, just let me know. So yeah, cue the music. Who can it be now? Who can it be now? Well, that is it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And please give me some feedback. You know, I love comments. And if you're a true Sigma from Ohio, you would like and subscribe this video. Also, check out my socials. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.